And now let's officially welcome, now that you can hear me. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne. This is Tuesday, still Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. Now that you can hear me. And this is things you might have heard for this day, actually things for the past day, technically. Going back to early Monday morning to early this morning, about 5 a.m., where we cut off all the news stories we put in there, put them into our algorithm to see which stories were more engaging. And we're going to review about 10 or 11 different stories. I counted 11 when I did the edit, and then I counted 10 when I put them in to the spreadsheet. So we'll see exactly how this thing plays out. It's not going to be too much. We're going to go through this pretty quickly, though. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. If we want to remind you that our main website is thisisaconversationproject.com, your home for the Conversation Project, brought to you by morebettermedia.llc, or LLC, if you will. And we like to give you more better media, see more about the more better media stuff, and more specifically about things you might have heard and other Conversation Project things at conversationproject.com. Let's get into the news stories right now. Starting off with this one here. Dallas first responders rescue drivers from flooded cars after flash flooding. Click the link so you can see some video of that one and read the story that they put out there from the local Dallas channels. But what this is all about is Dallas is having essentially what they're calling a 100-year flood, while other places around Texas are having 1,000-year floods, while other places around Texas are having 100-year and 1,000-year droughts. It's an amazing weirdness of the ecosystem that is now. There is, if you don't believe in climate change, here's some things that tell you that the weirdness of the climate right now, that these things don't happen. It's the middle of summer, middle of a heat wave, middle of wet, of hot, and places that are getting rain are getting drenched, officially drenched poorly, badly. It's just not dealing with anything. We know a lot of this has to do with infrastructure. We talk about Houston. Every time Houston gets serious rains, Houston essentially, I just someone described it as an asphalt bowl where basically it just floods up the whole time, and their infrastructure is not dealing with the big 50, 100-year flood type things. Dallas right now dealing with massive rain, more rain than they've gotten in a long time, and of course that causes lots of issues for people, especially flooding. Go watch the video and watch some of the news coverage of that from Dallas, and you'll see exactly what's happening. But you're seeing more or less these things everywhere. Let's move on to the next story, which is one person dead, 2 wounded in Atlanta shooting woman in custody. This one was a kind of quick hit thing that popped up late in the afternoon yesterday, where one person dead, 2 persons are wounded in this shooting in downtown Atlanta. Click the link for more details. It took them a while to put the woman in custody, so it took a while from the breaking news aspect to the continually closing news aspect on this one. But they did find someone in custody. It is more of a sign of the times. There's more details now updated from the story of what happened, why it happened, and what the woman's all about. So I'll offer you the chance to check it out on your own. But these things are popping up more and more often, unfortunately. Aqib Talib stepping away from Amazon's Thursday Night Football broadcast, per report. Now, Aqib Talib should be in the news for being a part of the new Thursday Night Football game on Amazon, but that's not what he's in the news for. He's in the news for that now because he's saying he's stepping away. But he's in the news because his brother shot another guy at a kid's football game, and because of the stress and all the aggravation of that one, including the fact that it took a few hours where people got the story straight and didn't say that Aqib Talib actually shot the person. He's going to basically take a bit of a sabbatical from Thursday Night Football right as the show is beginning for the season, with the football season coming up. We hope that he can find some peace and just some sort of just tranquility from his ordeal. Hope that his family can find some sort of peace, what's going on, and we get to a very quick resolution to the actual incident going forward. This is one that was an interesting thing. Black therapist fired after urging black men to seek therapy on TikTok. Also doxxed. So a black therapist on TikTok put out a bunch of videos saying, black men, y'all need to get some therapy. Something that black men know and people know in general, but it's something not said out loud. So what happened? He ended up getting fired from a job, and people ended up finding out his identity and doxing him and basically working to ruin his life. Click the link to read this story. This is a big deal because, number one, it shows just the power of trolls and the internet, which is ridiculous. Number two, it goes into a deeper thing that needs to be done in most communities, especially in my community. Black men do need to step up and talk to therapists. It's something that needs to be done. I've therapists before, and in those times they have helped. But it's still a stigma that is hard to shake off, that you don't need that type of stuff. A lot of times you find out you do. Let's move on to another story. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck marry again in star-studded second wedding in Georgia. They got married the first time. It's not a second wedding. It's not married again like they got married twice. It's at another ceremony, this time for friends and family and people who are famous, as opposed to the other one, which was a bit more intimate, just about them getting married. This one had all the big stars showing up for a gala that you would expect from a J-Lo type stuff. You can see pictures, you can see details, all those things from that one. But the J-Lo and Ben Affleck, Bennifer, as you will, Bennifer again, as you will, just had a second ceremony that invited people this time. It was a beautiful affair. Jordan Elsass breaks his silence about leaving Superman, and Lois suggests he maybe done acting. Missed the fixing in the copying of the title there, so sorry about that. But Jordan Elsass, Elsass, I should say, is the former Jonathan Kent from Superman and Lois, this former son, one of the twins from Superman and Lois, being recast because he didn't show up for work a few weeks ago as they prepare to get started in the new season. He is going to a rehab facility. He's going to a facility where he can work on his mental health. He says he's probably done with acting. Just the stress of life and things are getting into him. Read this one. If the thing about the black therapist getting doxxed and getting fired for suggesting therapy is something, read this story and see what you think about Jordan Elsass's his struggles and his thing going forward. Is he just a rich, spoiled actor kid who just is doing the rehab turn, or does he have a point in what he's done? Check it out, and we can conversate about that anytime you want to. Let's go to our next story, which is Rolling Stone slammed over honorary title for Harry Styles. Quote, "There is no new king of pop." So Harry Styles crowned the new king of pop by Rolling Stone, and a lot of people remember the actual former king of pop being Michael Jackson, saying the king may be dead, but Harry Styles cannot take the crown. King of pop is Michael Jackson, period. I know when I was on the radio, Michael Jackson died many years back. At this point, I was still on the radio doing a morning show in the market, and we did a question on the first year anniversary of his death, and there were a lot of people saying a lot of things about Michael Jackson. A lot of people who were touched by his music. Yes, some people were kind of obsessed and incensed by some of the things he did or allegedly did. But there was one comment that really stood out about calling him, because his music brought people together for a while, calling him not only the king of pop, but the Prince of Peace, which of course is Jesus, which we had kind of had a little bit about, but because, there already was a Prince of Peace, he kind of is Jesus. He may be, and he's eventually coming back, so he want his title back. This is essentially the same thing, except if Michael Jackson comes back, won his title back, we're all in trouble, because that means zombie apocalypse, obviously. Harry Styles may be a big time guy. He is not a king of pop. Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy will launch one-day stadium events for top PGA Tour stars. There's a comma there, so I want to make sure I put some emphasis there. This is to fight the Live Golf Tour. Now, let's not be too deep into this, and remember that the people that are showing up for Live Golf stuff are showing up because the best golfers in the world are there. They're being paid a just outrageous amount of money to show up for Live Golf tournaments, but they're there. And so people want to see the best golfers in the world. You can't so much blame them for not either. You may say they're not smart enough to look into things, but I would gather through toss about that our former president, I believe, is a grifter and a liar and a thief, yet basically almost 50% of the people in the vote last year almost got him back into election for a second term. So just the fact that there's an evil empire that's trying to run golf and trying to sports watch its presence by getting good golfers to show up for their events and showing people having great parties. The PGA is trying to fight back. They're trying to get back. Tiger Woods had a meeting with some of the top guys to kind of keep them around, and saying they're going to start doing some one-day stadium events, some big-time things to bring in more eyeballs back to the PGA stuff and less to the Live Golf Tour. We're going to see how these things work out, if new big things are what's needed, or if it's time to blow the whole thing up and try it again. I do not have any love, any particular for any sports league. I have love for the sport, not so much for league. I'm a fan of golf and the golfers for the talent. I'm not a fan of golf for the game because I'm not very good at it. This is one that we're going to see play out in quite detail over time, as the PGA, as a granddaddy, doesn't want the upstart live golf tournament to take over, especially since they're just blowing money on things. Herschel Walker turns down debating Warnock because of Sunday Night Football even though the debate is on a Thursday. This may be one of the odder Herschel Walker things popping up. Herschel Walker has said he will debate Raphael Warnock a few times and then sort of backed out of it. The recent one that was popping up was one that was going to happen on a Thursday. And he said, being Herschel Walker, I can't do debate because of Sunday Night Football. Read the actual story. Go deeper in this, whatever. We did not put in the Herschel Walker complaint about the new EPA bill saying that, don't we have enough trees already? Because that was, a whole nother level of crazy, saying that we have enough trees, that we don't need another bill to save the environment. The trees should fix themselves. In fact, we have too many trees. We should take down some trees. That's basically Herschel Walker's taking the environment. If you think this guy is a viable candidate for anything, I'm sorry. I love the man when he played football. I liked him doing The Apprentice. I'm pretty impressed by the business things he actually has pulled off. He needs to go someplace now. House of the Dragon draws 9.99 million viewers in debut. Best ever for HBO and HBO Max original series. A lot of people waiting for House of the Dragon. This is the I don't know if it's a sequel or prequel, what it has to do with the Game of Thrones. I've never watched an episode of Game of Thrones. I never will. I did not watch House of Dragons. I will not be the one that ticks it over to 10,000 viewers. I could not have been that guy because I don't care about the show. And there you go. But many people do. Many people love the books and love the series for its warts and its faults. And so a lot of people were waiting for this thing to come back, and it's there. This is a proof that the streaming services do have something going on when they do great original things, especially when they do episodic things that aren't so much just throwing out the whole season and going out and binge watching everything. What we're finding is things that are episodic feels like television and is appointment television, even if you don't have to be there at 7:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. I'd say that whole totally backwards. Being there for the weekly viewings becomes a big thing. And oh, by the way, monkeypox now reported in all 50 states. That is all. Here's our teaser story that we may get into. And this one brings up a lot of kind of deep thoughts that people of different communities, like St. Mindful community, thinks about when we actually get into discussions about race, because there's things that I can't talk to you about if you're not of my color and complexion and of my background, because there are things that I can't talk to you about because there are ways that we feel that y'all don't feel and y'all don't feel and y'all don't feel. Here's a case right here. In California's largest race bias case, Latino workers are accused of abusing Black colleagues. Is that possible? Is there racism among the non-dominant races, the non-white folks, going to be racist against each other? Yes, they can. And you can see this a bit in this article right here at Los Angeles Times. It is not a paywall, so hopefully you don't hit it. The best way to do this is go to it incognito mode and hit the link so you can see the full story. I posted a link and then found out from an aggregator and found out that the paywall will not let me see it here in my browser on the computer. It is one of those things that happens. But this is a story that I think we need to talk about. We need to discuss, put some serious discussion into. And if you voted up for discussion tomorrow, we will put serious discussion into it. In fact, we will turn this into probably some larger detailed thing to go deeper. So in California's largest race bias case, Latino workers are accused of abusing Black colleagues. Let me know what you think about this by your engagement. Like it, love it, hate it, share it. Let me know what you think about this one. We'll get into this one pretty quickly. So I should have did that because the next thing we do right now is go to the money shot. And that is our advertisement for Zenni Optical. Go to thisisaconversationproject.com/Zenni, and you will see some of the best glasses ever from Zenni Optical. They offer up all the glasses you can get from those other places, and you can send these back too if you don't like them. And you don't have to pay $100 to get 5 pairs to play around with. You just order your glasses and you get good glasses. I'm wearing my Zenni Optical glasses right now. I wear The same basic frames for a few years now because I like the frames. They're inexpensive, but they're also basic because I like that. The lenses, I did an upgrade last time I did that. There's a little bit of a glare protection on there that I'm starting to see with my new light and camera setup. As I'm getting better with cameras and lights, I can see how it's working out there. It's not perfect, but it's not, glasses with no glasses in them. That's how that works out. My wife has Zenni optical glasses. My daughter is getting Zenni optical glasses. I send this link to friends and family who are looking for glasses, looking for great discounts, and looking to help me out as well. So if you want to help a brother out, get your next pair of glasses from Zenni Optical, and it'll cost you very, very little because they cost very little, and get us a little bit of cutback from the work. This is theconversationproject.com/Zenni is the link. Check it out. The best glasses you've ever worn will be from Zenni Optical. Now let's go to the websites of note, the news sites of note, the sites of note for us. We added a new one the other day because now we have a podcast link. We have the audio from this thing at thisistheconversationproject.com/podcast. The YouTube link is at thisistheconversationproject.com/YouTube. So you can see this file this week. You're already seeing this, so maybe you got that already. On TikTok, we're at the Conversation Project as well. The big thing to think about is, of course, our main website, which is theconversationproject.com. You can find more details about the Conversation Project. You can find more details about me and what's going on with things you might have heard. Details about our sponsors and partnership links. Check it out at the main website. Also, go to our feeds at Facebook and Twitter. That's where we post the new stories every 50 minutes. And as you engage in the stories, we know what stories to talk about for the next morning's day. On Tuesday through Friday, we go through about 30 to 33 stories in a day. And in that case, we take the top 15 stories, and pick from those as most conversational. On Monday, of course, it's from top 30 of about 90 stories. So we have more stories, more yak. You get that. But that's how we pick the stories. You vet them yourselves. You tell us what stories are best to talk about by going to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Today, things to talk about, because like have a little fun on today. It is August 23rd, and we're going classic on today, starting off with Barbara Eden, I Dream of Jeannie, at 91 years old today. And of course, all these people make you feel a little bit older, whether you are a bit older or not so older. Barbara Eden, of course, as Jeannie and other great roles, but of course, I guess the biggest role of her lifetime for my generation is watching reruns of Larry Hagman and Barbara Eden on I Dream of Jeannie. Shelley Long, known from Cheers and doing a lot of great things as well, 73 years old today, as well as Rick Springfield, who's 73. Picked that there for my good friend Jen, who's the biggest Rick Springfield fan of in the world. Did not realize how big a fan she was and how big things he actually is into till he had his more or less revival a few years ago, and now he's all over the place. He has a Sirius XM show where he plays a working class DJ. I got a chance to see Rick Springfield in concert, ironically enough, where Jen was, where he was playing for and when the ice skating specials they used to do. Yeah, he did that. I don't know if it was a gig for cash, but Rick Springfield played Love Somebody while people skated. It was wonderful. It was eyed. We're going to make a meal out of today's day, starting off with buttered corn day, favorite of my daughter, Cuban sandwich day, which I'm a good fan of, and sponge cake day. Christine with a K loves some sponge cake. So we could not cut down to one. So we figure out, make yourself a meal today, get yourself some corn, have a Cuban sandwich, top it off with sponge cake. You will not be disappointed. All right, so anyone who's known me more than 20 minutes knows that I hate cats, and I think cats are all trying to kill humans. Here's a case where they're trying to fool you. A hero cat in the UK saved his owner's life by pounding his paws on her chest to wake her up after she suffered a heart attack in her sleep. The incredible behavior reinforces prior research that shows pets not only show interest in helping their owners, but will make attempts to help them on their own. Sam Felsteed, who's 42, fell asleep, then was woken by her 7-year-old cat, Billy, at 4:30 a.m. in her England home. She realized she was unable to move her body and had a shooting pain down her right side, so called out to her mother for help. Felsteed was rushed to the hospital by her mother. Doctors told her that she had suffered a heart attack in her sleep. She now believes Billy's swift actions saved her life. Billy is a plant. Billy's trying to make y'all think that these cats are out there loving you. Your cat hates you. Your cat is trying to kill you. Remember that. Your cat is trying to kill you. And with that, we're going to wrap up the news for the day. This has been things you might not have heard for Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. I am still Jay Cleveland Payne. We are still doing our best, cats notwithstanding, to give you the best in coverage of news that you might have missed out. We call ourselves your a tertiary news source, your news side piece, if you will, because we aren't the things that the rumor. There's a rumor of us switching at CNN, so we're not sure how long Anderson Cooper is going to be there. But while he's there, he's probably not talking about cats trying to keep people alive. So we like to think we gave you that. We also like to think that you are heeding our advice by staying hydrated, staying on task, and staying limber. Almost got that workout because we need you around to do great things. We had 2 stories today about therapy type things, about depression type things. So if you're a person who's in need of some sort of help like that, need to talk them up, find someone to talk to, reach out to me. We can talk. I'll find some time. We'll chat some things out. Have a chance to talk some things out. Find a full-fledged therapist who can take care of your needs. There's also online options that are, actual therapy and not just, going to 4chan and bitching and complaining about stuff, because that happens as well. With that, we'll bid you adieu. We're going to do this again tomorrow with, I'm going to say, hopefully some great stories. The news has been kind of and my schedule's been also kind of so we're doing our best to make sure we're putting out a good show. So thank you so much for that. Good ups to my boy Josh checking out on me in the middle of the desert. Hopefully it's not too hot. I'm sure you don't want Dallas-like torrential rain, but hopefully you can kind of stay dry from the being in the heat, if you know what I mean. And Christina with a K for popping in and making sure things are all right. We're done. Let's do this again tomorrow.